Thanks for joining us here for this afternoon stream. The city of Battle Creek is looking to get feedback here regarding their police department. Good afternoon. I'm News 8 digital anchor Luke Laster here from the Wood TV live desk. Joining me is Lamont Brown of MGT Consulting. Lamont, good afternoon. Thanks for taking some time. Sorry if you're hearing some background noise there, but how are you this afternoon?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, you betcha. So if you could share a little bit about your role here. There's this equity audit going on to kind of help tie community and the local police department there, get some feedback from them. If you could just kind of explain what we have going on here.
Absolutely. I work for MGT Consulting, and we are conducting an equity audit for the city of Battle Creek. We are now in phase 2, where we are doing an audit of the relationship between the community and the Battle Creek Police Department. The goal is for the city to have a better understanding of what's working and what's not working from the community's perspective on how to improve upon the relationships and outreach between the police department and the community at large.
So a phased approach here. This is phase 2, as you mentioned. Can you lay those phases out? What was phase 1 and what are the phases remaining after that?
Absolutely. And so we started with best practices research to provide the city staff with an understanding of what the best practices are for doing equity and diversity, equity, inclusion work for an organization. We then did an HR audit where we supported the organization in determining ways in which the staff itself can be better representative of the community, how to ensure that there is a culture of inclusion and equity among employees and for the community. And so that was kind of a 2-pronged approach to our phase 1. We are now, as I mentioned, in phase 2, where we want to hear from folks on the state of relations between the Battle Creek Police Department and the community. And so that's where we are now. We both evaluate data and policies, but we also have a qualitative approach where we want to hear from residents on their perspective, their insights, and their guidance on what should happen to create a stronger, more equitable, more inclusive culture and relationship between the community and the police department.
And we'll dive into that public feedback here, or that public interaction there in just a moment. One question I have per your last answer here, what city staff are you working with the closest here with this?
Several. And so there's the city manager and there's a host of employees on her team that we work with. And so we have biweekly meetings where we are reviewing our plan over the 6+ month engagement of this project. We provide updates on our findings, and ultimately we will present a comprehensive review of our analysis, as well as recommendations for consideration.
So let's dive in a little bit with the specifics on these meetings. We have 2 virtual ones and 2 in-person meetings for this phase. Tell me a little bit about, what you're hoping comes from them.
Well, ultimately, we want the community to feel empowered. We want every single person, not just those watching this video, but those who live in the city of Battle Creek, to have a voice. And so we set up these engagement opportunities for folks to either attend in person if they're able to, or remotely through Zoom. And so there are 4 different sessions. The 2 virtual meetings, one is taking place today, March 16th at 4 o'clock. The next one is taking place next week, March 22nd at 11 o'clock. And so there are 2 different 2-hour sessions for folks to attend, but we'll also be there on site. And so on March 24th, we will be at the Cool Family Community Center on 200 West Michigan Avenue at 11 o'clock, as well as at 6 o'clock that evening. And so the entire community is welcome to attend and provide their input and their perspective on the state of relations between the community and the police department. We also know that it may not be feasible for some folks to attend either through their computers on phones or in person. And so we have 2 additional engagement opportunities through a phone line as well as through email that they can provide their information.
In terms of next steps, when this audit completely wraps up, what happens then?
Great question. And so we will take all of the input they've received from the city staff and the citizens who engage, as well as our analysis of data and policies, and create a summary report of our findings. That report will highlight strengths of the city and the police department, as well as gaps as we find them. We'll conclude with a set of recommendations, and then there will be a task force that we will support in the development of an action plan to identify the steps that they will take to improve whether it's the culture of equity in the organization or the relationship between the community and the police department. And so that action plan will be developed around April and May. And then that will be the driving force, if you will, for the city and the police department in terms of their next steps to improve the state of equity for the city of Battle Creek.
So we could see action taken as soon as this summer, I guess.
So this summer we'll have the plan. The plan will most likely be a multi-year plan, and so they very well may be some actions that are set up to start this summer. But knowing the community is passionate about this work, the city is passionate about this work. There will absolutely be action steps taken. I don't know what the timeline will be, but there will be a plan that everyone should hold the city accountable to, making sure they are following the plan they set forth to ensure the strengthening of equity and relationships within the city.
Lamont, we appreciate you taking some time. Is there anything else that you want to add here on this?
I'll just say that I've been very pleased with the city of Battle Creek's commitment to this work. And this is an opportunity where we in the city of Battle Creek is serious about public engagement. And so please take advantage of the opportunity to give your input through any of the channels that we've set up, and we encourage it. Your name will be confidential. The results will be summarized, and so confidentiality is critical. But we want to hear from you, the Battle Creek citizens, on what the city can do to improve the state of relations for everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you just tuned in maybe halfway through this conversation or just are now clicking into it, you can head over to woodtv.com to find it. There's a link attached to the stream that'll take you over to the website. Again, Lamont, we appreciate your time. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a look at the Wood TV Live Desk. I'm News 8 digital anchor Luke Laster. Have a great afternoon, folks, and we'll see you around.